Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the 2021 Secret Sanctuary Room Tour. Let's start the tour with the newest part of the sanctuary, and this is a shelf I just installed a few months ago to accommodate the Batman Rogues. And I also bought this peel and stick poster. I didn't like the way these three characters looked just with the blue background on the wall, so I found this Joker playing card poster. And I really like these peel and stick posters. They're a very affordable way to add a lot to your collection, and you can find so many cool images that are comic book related. It works really well, and sometimes I just use like cityscapes. I'll show you some of those later on. Anyway, these three pieces. The Scarecrow, I'm still amazed we got this from Sideshow. I'm amazed that DC, Warner Brothers approved Jason Todd as a zombie coming out of his grave on the base. I just love that. I think it's beyond cool, and it also tells you that you're viewing this statue not from your own point of view, but from Batman's point of view. It's his fear to see Jason Todd as a zombie emerging from his grave. Then we have Poison Ivy, also Sideshow. And the base is this beautiful flower that's literally lifting her aloft. Great sculpt. I'm using the exclusive portrait here. I think most people use the regular portrait, but I like the slightly demonic look on this. And also I think it's prettier. People will say, no way! The regular one's way prettier, but I like this one for some reason. Mr. Freeze was a little bit pricier than the other two, maybe because of a very cool base showing Nora. Let me get close on that. I'm standing on my couch, so sorry this is a bit shaky. Very cool. If you have a Mr. Freeze statue, you kind of want a nod towards Nora. She's such a huge part of his story. I like this piece a lot. My only knock on it is I think the snow on the base looks a little plasticky, but not too bad. Otherwise, the sculpt of the piece is wonderful. It's a great portrait. This is the one where if you shine a black light on it, it looks really, really cool. I can't do that now because it's daytime. There's too much natural light coming into the room. You've got the Batarang stuck in the ice over there, and then he's stepping on top of a tattered Batman cape. Really nice piece. And then below the shelf, I have this Alex Ross print called Dynamic Duo, which is his recreation of Batman number 9, all the way back in the golden age of comics. I have a copy of that issue, and that's why I picked up this print. And it ended up being just such a great display item right below the Rogues. I thought that looked really, really cool. Below that shelf on my desk, I have the Frank Cho Wonder Woman, which is 1/6 scale. Although I wish it were larger. I'm a huge fan of this portrait and of Frank Cho's art. I like how he makes his women a little bit thicker, a little more muscular. I just really like that statue. I think at 1/4 with a more elaborate base, this would be a killer piece. I really, really like it. Something about the eyes. They really did a good job on this. And then over here, I have the Kotobukiya Hulk. This is another small scale piece, but I love the sculpt. I mean, look, that portrait is just so cool. You don't usually see teeth done that well either on such a small piece. And the base is simple, but it's designed to pair with their Hulkbuster. So if you have that one, the base fits flush right up here, making it look like a diorama. Really cool little piece. Now we move to my Gladiator shelving unit. And the top shelf is 3 of my 4 XM pieces. And I have another peel and stick poster behind that. It's just a New York cityscape behind it. But I think that adds a little personality. I call this my like Creatures of the Night display. because you wouldn't want to bump into any of these guys in a dark alley. The Deathstroke is XM, and I never intended to buy a Deathstroke, but this piece is so cool, I could not pass it up. One of the reasons is for this crazy, awesome, large base, which I just love. Incredible detail, really big, very large, and then this really nice sculpt on Deathstroke. There are some good switch outs on here, both portraits and weapons. When I bought this, I intended to leave the unmasked portrait in the box and never display it. And in the end, I've displayed only the unmasked portrait, and the others have remained in the box. But I love the pose on this. So cool. And I love the kind of bronze coloring against the blue. Looks really good. Just an all-around, really, really nice piece. Next to him is Samurai Batman. I think Samurai Batman was probably my first piece from XM Studios, and I was blown away. To be honest, I'm still blown away. When they revealed Batman Shugo several months ago, I thought, man, maybe I need a new Batman, but I don't at all. You know, I really, really love this piece, and I don't need a replacement for it one bit. I love the lightly sculpted cape. There's no chance of this thing leaning. That cape is very light. All the details of his costume, the crazy number of switch outs. There's 5 portraits for this piece. There are, I think, maybe 3 sets of swords. You've got the grapple gun. There's all kinds of switch outs. A really cool base. Just an all-around awesome piece that deserves the respect that it gets from the hobby. Last on this shelf is Moon Knight. Big time Moon Knight fan for years and years and years, from back in the early 80s when the original series came out. This has a pretty low edition size. I think it's 388 or 338, something like that. Crazy good sculpt by Caleb Nefsen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Amazing flowing cape. That's another lightly sculpted cape, but it totally works. It engineered really well. Very dynamic pose. Kind of has to be on a high shelf the way he's looking down, but I love it. All right, let me step off this chair without falling on my butt. And the next shelf is the X-Men. Again, I've got a peel and stick behind it. Kind of a retro or like cityscape from that old movie Metropolis, from the silent movie. And we start with Colossus on a Danger Room base. This is a pretty imposing statue if you haven't seen it in person. I think people think it's too small if they haven't seen it, and then they see it and they think, oh, nope, looks great to me. It's really, really sharp. He has a fiercely determined expression. I wasn't going to display the exclusive again until I got it, and I thought, yeah, actually it looks pretty cool. So I kept him on there. Really love the color choices, just the hues of red and yellow. And to contrast how that looks compared to the silver and the metallic gauntlets. It just all works. Really, really nice piece. It's a fairly large base. He's a big fella. Next up is Psylocke, the variant. This was kind of a surprise, and this is a piece that has a storied history where when it was originally revealed at Comic-Con in San Diego, this was the portrait. Some people complained about it. Sideshow ended up changing the portrait, much to my dismay. But then at Spooktacular a couple of years ago, they offered this variant with a very small edition size. I think it was only 150. And I snapped it up. I think it sold out in like a half an hour. So we just have a different colored costume and the original portrait, which is beautiful. Love that piece. Next up, we have Wolverine. Again, these are all Sideshow. All 4 of these are Sideshow. This is my favorite quarter scale Wolverine. I know that there's lots of options out there and different people have different opinions, but this one totally works for me. I love the forward lunging pose. I like both portraits. The unmasked one I often display. I just happen to have this one on now, and I love it. I thought they did a really good job on the teeth, considering it's only a 1/4 piece. Very often you get weird teeth on pieces, but this one totally works. I love the musculature and the veins popping and the hair on his arms. Just looks really good. Very nice base. I love the way that the blue contrasts with the yellow costume. It just overall works. Everything about it works. And then pairing with him on a similar base, the opposing hand, of course, we have X-23. This is also kind of a fan favorite piece, long sold out and sought after by collectors who didn't pick it up when it was originally offered. She's just beautiful. I never intended to have an X-23 piece in my collection. I haven't read too many of the comics. But when I saw this at Comic-Con, I just had to have it. And she doesn't disappoint. Really cool piece. I didn't pick up the Juggernaut maquette, but I did buy the exclusive. I found a collector who was willing to part with his Kitty Pryde, and I did want a Kitty Pryde. And I thought, what a great way to not spend a lot of money and get her into my collection. I love that it's just kind of half her torso and portrait and arm. She doesn't take up much room. It makes sense for the character to be phasing in like this. And I think it just looks really cool. I kind of move her around. Sometimes she's here. Sometimes I put her next to Colossus. Every once in a while, I'll take her off of this base. She lifts right off. She's just resting there. I'll just lift her off and put her on top of the base for Colossus. So it's just kind of a fun piece to move around. And man, you know, if you're not going to pick up Juggernaut, but you can find a collector willing to part with their Kitty Pryde, I think it's a really cool addition to an X-Men collection. The bottom shelf of my Gladiator unit has the Prime 1 Harley, the Arkham Knight Harley. This is an amazing piece. It's been out for several years, but Prime 1 had one of their sales and they had her for $650, and I had $50 in rewards from Prime 1, and the economy shipping was only $36 to California. So basically I got her for like a quarter scale price for a 1/3 scale piece. I paid a grand total of $636 for this absolutely beautiful Harley. She has, is it 3 or 4 portraits? She has at least 3 portraits. She's got the winking one, and then she's got the kind of crazy one, and this one, so I guess it's 3. But I almost always display this piece just because I think it's crazy beautiful. I like this costume a lot. It's full sculpt except for the skirt. The skirt is fabric. But I love everything about this statue. The exclusive are those little dolls of Joker and Batman. Those are Polystone dolls. And you kind of just put them wherever you want. But I think she's beautiful. Probably the most beautiful piece I have in my collection, I think. And then next to her, I have the Justice League Batman, Ben Affleck Batman. This is a piece I wasn't going to buy like so many others. And then I saw this piece in San Diego 2018, I believe. And that was when Sideshow and Prime 1 were not on speaking terms. And they only had a few Prime 1 pieces. I think they only had 5. This was one of them. And for some reason, they only displayed the unmasked portrait the entire 5 days of the convention. but I looked at it every day and finally decided I had to have it. And man, I was able to get one, but just barely. This thing sold out, and now it is a highly sought after item. It's considered one of the best Ben Affleck likenesses, and I agree with that. Again, most people only display this portrait, but I do put on the unmasked portrait quite frequently. I think they're both really neat. There's a switch out right hand with a grapple gun. Really nice big base. Super nice. And then on this shelf also, I have the Sideshow Catwoman. Just because I don't have anywhere else to put her right now. I don't like to mix scales on the same shelf. But I'm going to be displaying her with Harley Hell on Wheels when that is released, gosh, any day now, probably in the next month or so. And I mean, this is a beautiful piece. I really love both portraits. I've got this one on right now, but again, I do switch them out. I love how she's scratching into the gargoyle. Really kind of narrow base, so it doesn't take up very much space. It's got good height to it though. Very seductive. Really, really nice piece. Sideshow has done very well with their Batman premium formats. Some would say they haven't come out with the perfect Batman premium format, and I can understand that. I do own one. I owned the first one, and now I own the second one. And then we got the third one coming out soon with the long cape. But this piece is beautiful. Thought I'd also show you some of the artwork or posters I have displayed in the sanctuary. These are enlargements of comics that I own. Superman 9 and 10. Really nice pieces. The comics I have are both 8.0s. They're really nice. But a friend of mine, I sent him scans and he made these posters for me. I think they're super fun. I really like having them in the room. All right, and then we're going above my TV. Excuse me while I step on a chair. All right, so we have 4 Marvel pieces here. These are all Sideshow, starting with Daredevil. This is the Shadowlands Daredevil. Again, this is a spectacular variant with a very small edition size. I think, again, it was only 150, I think. Was it 150 for this? Anyway, I originally had the red version, the regular version that Sideshow originally put out. Once I bought the Shadowlands, I just sat them side by side and decided, you know what? I prefer the black costume, and I sold the red one. But it's a very cool piece. A lot of people are anxious to see the new Iron Studios Daredevil quarter scale, and they think that's going to be the best quarter scale Daredevil. I saw that piece in San Diego. I like it a lot. I'm not sure why, but I prefer this one. It may be because I think this one goes with Elektra better. And this is a piece that I love. Another gorgeous portrait there. This was a piece where the one that I bought originally leaned. To my horror, that back foot came up off the base and she was leaning forward and off to the right. But I talked to Sideshow and they sent me a replacement, and she's been great. I think I've had her for the replacement for about a year now with no problems. Beautiful piece. I was a big fan of the Miller Daredevils back when they first came out, and I still am. The Death of Elektra is one of my favorite comics. Daredevil 181. Still brings a tear to my eye. Really, really great comic. Next up is the Spider-Man PF. This is not the most recent, but it's the one that I like the best. A lot of people were worried when this was first announced and when it came out that he was going to lean just because he joins the base just at that hand. But that has not happened. I really haven't heard of any cases of this piece leaning. I came late to this piece. I think I bought it after the more recent one came out. This was on sale. I think it had free shipping and $50 off or something like that. So I snagged it, and I'm very happy to have Spider-Man represented in my collection. I think this is a really cool piece. I even like the base. Some people have problems with this base, but I like it. I think it looks good. This is just the regular. I don't have the exclusive with the webbing coming out of his hand, but I'm fine with that. Finally, this is a XM piece, Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty. This was originally supposed to be like a gift to the retailers that had supported XM Studios early on, so they were going to make it a really small edition size. But I think at some point they raised the edition size. I like it a lot. It's not the best Captain America. I think maybe I like the XM Studios that was recently announced better than this one, but this is still a really nice piece, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, which is nice. Here's the Sideshow premium format Rocket Raccoon comic version. Really cool little piece. It's got a lot of attitude. It's got a lot of guns. Really, really sharp piece. Behind him, we have the Iron Studios Hulkbuster. This thing, I mean, look how big it is compared to Rocket Raccoon, but this is a 1/10 scale. It's a big fella. I think is it 23 inches? I think it might be 23 inches tall, and it's a 1/10 scale. Very cool. I thought it was very affordably priced. I think it was like $3.25. Just a really sharp piece. And then over here, this is another Iron Studios 1/10 scale. This is the Tony Stark and the Mark I. And this was a convention exclusive that Sideshow did. I bought it straight from their booth in San Diego. I think it was $200. But they did a good job on it. Some people thought the Tony Stark was just okay. But man, that Mark I at 1/10 scale, that's pretty cool. And heck, if you want to, you can even remove Tony. Oh, I forgot, he lights up. The arc reactor lights up. All right, let me see if I can remove him. You can just display the Mark I. But I think the Tony's cool. I like seeing them both together. This is a Black Widow piece by Andy Park. I met him at WonderCon a couple of years ago and bought this from him. It's just one of the art prints they sell. But man, oh man, I don't think there's a better ScarJo Black Widow image on the planet. This is just beautiful. I think it accurately represents her likeness, not just her face, but her body. And just putting her on a rooftop with the full moon behind her, accenting her face. It's really, really cool. Andy Park has done some beautiful work. I'm sure he has a website, but just Google him and I'm sure you'll find a piece that you like. He's got some great, great stuff. And then if you move over here, this is the Galactus print that Sideshow came out with not too long ago. I will be pairing this with the Silver Surfer maquette when it comes out. And that's maybe what, 3 or 4 months from now? But a really nice art print. This is actually the only art print I've purchased. I'm sorry, this is the only framed art print I've purchased from Sideshow. Usually I just buy the print, and I have many of those in a art folio. But this one's really nice. This is just a frame poster I bought off one of those poster websites like allposters.com or something like that. Super cheap. I think I paid like $6 for the poster and maybe $25 for the framing or something. I forget the artist, but he does really cool, very realistic work. There's another one like this that is Thor and Iron Man flying over New York City. But this is really cool. I like it a lot. All right, coming down to my Billy bookshelves. I start with the first Sideshow Hulk maquette, which I still really love. I am open to replacing it with a different quarter scale. I really liked Hulk Transformation from XM, but I don't want to spend that much money, and I don't want to have to give up that much space. That was a huge piece, I think about 2 feet wide, about 2 feet deep. This is a Billy bookshelf that has it's like 11 inches deep. So this piece just fits the spot, and I really like it. I know it's movie based. I don't have a lot of movie based pieces, but this could be mistaken as a comic piece, to be honest. It's just really well done. It's, the pants are fabric, but they're keeping up just fine. They're holding up. The base is just a busted up street scene. But man, it's got serious intensity. It's a really nice piece. Then we have the Daniel Bell Thor. Really popular piece. Great expression. Good looking teeth there, Thor. Daniel Bell hand. Crazy cool base. Fire and lava everywhere. Just great. Good stuff. Bell is a master. I think I have 4 Bell pieces right now. I'm really looking forward to seeing his new piece, the Dr. Doom maquette. Can't wait to see that. And next up is Iron Man. Oop, I gotta turn him on. Hold on. One moment, please. There we go. All right, this piece. I had no intention of buying this piece. I saw this in San Diego a couple of years ago. They're doing a giveaway on it. So it had its own little spot in the corner of the Sideshow booth, all lit up like this for 5 days. But this piece is $799. Didn't really want to buy it for that amount, even though I really like it. Collectors complain about the sitting position, but I suspect that most people who haven't seen it, if they have that complaint, because it really works in person. I had an option to buy this at $200 off retail, and so I snapped it up. It was from Midtown Comics. The beautiful thing about this piece is it does not have an exclusive. So if you buy this from your local comic shop, you're getting everything. You're not missing out on the exclusive, which you often do when you buy from a comic shop. But they sent me a 25% off coupon. I used it on this, and I'm very pleased. The light up functions are crazy. You got light up on the eyes, on the arc reactor, on the hands, on the missile coming off his arm, and then just this phenomenal base, this crazy good base. That's just so cool. So I got these 3 Avengers together, and then I move over and start the Justice League. Green Arrow. I was a buyer on this as soon as they revealed it. I love it. It's another tough piece that sold out. It's tough to find. It's beautiful. They did a great job. You've got this portrait, which is kind of a more modern take. The exclusive is kind of like more the Robin Hood look with the feather and all that good stuff. But that's a really great portrait. Really nice base of the harbor at night. You got that quiver of arrows, tons of arrows. There's like 16 arrows in there. The water just looks so realistic. I'm always nervous about this piece because it's quite fragile with all those little pieces of water coming up. Really nice hues of green. Just an overall wonderful piece. Again, highly sought after. All right, let's move to Batman. Another piece that people talk a lot about. Controversial, I guess you could say. Some people think that he's too bulky. Some people think he's got kind of a hunchback. They don't like the chaps on the pants. I resisted this piece for at least a year after it came out. And then I sold my original premium format, the one that had the mixed media costume and the sculpted cape. And I started taking a better, harder look at this one. And I had a bunch of points with Sideshow. and I decided to go ahead and go for it before the exclusive sold out. And I'm really glad I did. It's so much better in person. I don't know how I can convince you, but it's a really cool piece. All of the nods to Amadeus Arkham on the base. This just beautiful sculpture here on the side of the base. I think that's just so well done. Great portrait. Only one portrait for this piece. The exclusive, I guess they're batarangs. People jokingly call them meat cleavers. There's one for each hand. I only use one of them. I think that has enough effect, and I like having a fist over here for Batman. Fabric cape, but you know, it took me 5 minutes to pose. I didn't do a lot, but I'm happy with how it looks. Just a great piece. All right, I'm gonna step around some furniture here and show you Superman. Again, I had the original PF with the fabric costume and the sculpted cape, and very gladly sold that one for this one. Nothing wrong with the original one. I think the portrait on the original is like the prototypical awesome Superman. But this one's a little more updated. The musculature is way better. It doesn't have the undies on the outside, but I don't care. I'm cool with that. It has an awesome Brainiac ship base. And again, kind of like the Jason Todd zombie on the Scarecrow piece, I was a bit surprised that DC lets Sideshow do this. You basically have one of the Brainiac robots that Superman has ripped his head off. There's like, you know, what do you call that? It's not blood, motor oil, dripping from the bottom. Just amazing. And a really cool portrait. It's more determined than you often see from Superman. There were some concerns about this when the initial pics came out, that his chin was too long. But unless you're going to be, the picture was like from this angle. So I have no problem with this chin at all. I think it came out really great. I'm not sure if they made any changes to fix it or not, but it looks fantastic. I'm unsure that I'll ever need another quarter scale Superman, because this one just totally works for my collection. I love everything about it. Okay, here's where I broke a cardinal sin and introduced a movie piece into my Justice League comic Justice League collection. But this is an amazing piece. You know, you're talking about, you know, this was probably $600 or around $600. It's got a really good likeness of Jason Momoa. It's not as good as the Prime 1 half-scale piece for thousands of dollars, but it's pretty darn good for a quarter-scale piece. The costume is really nice. The gold really shines on the shirt, which is sculpted. The pants are fabric, which makes sense to me because look at the detail. And how do you do that on a sculpted piece? Totally works. And there's been no, you know, fraying or anything with the pants. They're holding up just fine. The boots are sculpted. You got this cool underwater sea base. Looks really good. They didn't introduce a ton of, you know, coral or colory stuff to distract. You know, your attention is drawn to Aquaman. He's got this really long trident. I can't remember how long it is, but looking at it right now, it looks like it's about 1.5 feet. You have to be careful that you have the display space for that. But it's just super well done in every way. This had another kind of small edition. I think it was $500 on the exclusive. This is the exclusive right here. Ocean Master's helmet. So it's not an exclusive that you have to have. It's still a great piece without it if you have a regular instead of the exclusive. But what a great piece. Next up is Wonder Woman. Again, I need to turn this on. There we go. So when this was first introduced, the pictures of the portrait were amazing. She had kind of a softness to her, still determined, still deadly, but there was a real kind of soft beauty to her. The production piece has lost a little bit of that. I would say this is kind of maybe 80% of the prototype, but still very beautiful. Great costume, amazing sculpt, light up base. I wasn't using the light up feature, but I recently picked up some extension cords so I can start using my light up features more often on this and the Iron Man piece. The exclusive is the skirt. The statue separates at the waist, and you can remove the skirt and see the kind of the panties with the stars on them costume. Either looks really good. I just went with the skirt. See if I can get closer there. Very pretty. And then I have the Wonder Woman bust. This is a beautiful portrait. I love that bust. Really, really sharp. I'm glad they went with both arms on this one. There's also a Batman and a Superman coming out, but both of those only have one arm. This has both, which I think works really well. I think this is sold out. It's just a really nice piece. And it's kind of a mysterious scale. It's not quite 1/3, but it's bigger than 1/4. So it's kind of an in-between scale. Finally, on top of the Billy bookcases, I have the Daniel Bell Flash. You either love this piece or you don't. Some people think this arm is too extended. Some people think this hand is too large. So there are complaints from people. Those who own it, though, I think really love it. We waited a long time for a Flash premium format from Sideshow, and I was thrilled to get this. I think it's great. So I'm depending on them to get me a Martian Manhunter. And then I'm also going to need a Green Lantern. They do have a Hal Jordan Green Lantern. It's okay. I'm a Hal Jordan guy because I've been reading Justice League since, the mid-70s. Yeah, I'm old. So Hal Jordan is kind of my Green Lantern. So I hope they do a new Hal Jordan, or I probably will pick up that last one they did. But that is my quarter scale Justice League collection. And then we'll go down and take a look at a few tweeter heads. I'll pull up a chair. So I recently sold some tweeter heads. I decided I wanted to focus on quarter scale. So I was selling some 1/6 pieces. I sold Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Donna Troy, and that might be it. So anyway, here's what I have left. Here's the Batgirl that came out just a few months ago. This is the exclusive with the red purse. Really, really nice piece. And then the Catwoman, which I think deserves more attention than it gets. I think this is one of the best pieces that Tweeterhead has put out. Just a gorgeous portrait. This is a wonderful costume for her. Just love the purple and the green costume with the black shiny boots. This bag of jewels on the base and the wanted sign back there. A heavy base, much heavier than any of the other Tweeterhead pieces. Showing lots of leg. Really awesome. And then Robin, this came out a few months ago. Displays really well with the Batman and with the Batgirl. Really nice red. It's not just like a primary red. It's got lots of nice shading on it. Got smoke pouring out there from a pipe on the roof. Really nice. And then, just because I had nowhere else to put him, I have only one Star Wars piece in my collection, and of course, it's Baby Yoda, the child, whatever you want to call him. And this one did not disappoint at all. Super happy with him. I did not try to remove any of the red from his cheeks like a lot of collectors have done. I think he looks fine just the way he is. I do wish that they had added some hair wisps on top of his ears. I have noticed on the show he does have hair on top of his ears, but that's a nitpick. I'm okay with that. You know, how can you look into these eyes? It's like looking into the eyes of a puppy. You just fall in love with this thing. I think this was priced at about $350 originally, and then they had to bump the price up to $375 because I guess it was selling too well. I don't know why they did that, but either way, I think it's a bargain. Really, really nice piece for the money. All right, and then back to Tweeterhead. I've got the Harley. Really, really pretty portrait on this. When it originally came out, the painting wasn't perfect, and some of them came with a crack. So Tweeterhead replaced them all, and I think it's really beautiful. I really like it. Really nice flying pose. She's got the jetpack on, so she's midair above her base. Nice, like abandoned carnival base, funhouse base, I guess I should say. So cool. And then the Tweeterhead Joker. The Tweeterhead Joker is kind of a unique piece in that it's part of the Superpowers line, but doesn't really look like a Superpowers piece. Superpower pieces tend to have kind of fairly clean, simple sculpts, as you see with these. Joker is another thing altogether. Joker is crazy and scary and freaking cool. This is a great representation of the character from top to bottom. I love the costume. I love the base. He's got this big mallet with a Joker face on it. He's got the gas coming out in the back with playing cards mixed in. Just a crazy good Joker. There's two portraits for this one. One he's got his mouth open a little wide, and the other one he's got it way wide. I think this is the wider one. Just an awesome, awesome piece. And then I just have one small piece left to show you. I purchased this before I started collecting statues. This is from the Masterpiece edition of Superman. I bought this at Barnes & Noble. But it's a Golden Age Superman. Pretty cool. Like a Fleischer cartoon Superman. Definitely the Golden Age costume with that S insignia. I really like this piece. I think it was $40 for the whole thing. It included this statue, a hardcover book on Superman, and a reprint of Superman #1. And you see those reprints on eBay a lot, certified by CGC, selling for $100 or whatever. But I love this piece. So that's my 2021 Secret Sanctuary room tour. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a small room. This entire room is only like 11 feet by 11 feet. But I've brought in a tremendous number of statues. My wife can't believe how many statues are in this room. I don't know what the future holds because I have no more space. I literally have no more space. So I may continue selling some of my smaller pieces to make room for more quarter scale because I really do want to center on that. Chad Tweeterhead threw a wrench in that idea by introducing a new series, a new Justice League series. And I've gotten a peek at most of those, and damn it, they're really cool. So I'm probably going to be buying all of those, so you can anticipate seeing reviews on those, starting with Superman in the not too distant future. Damn. That series, I know, I mean, you guys have gotten a glimpse of the Trinity, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I've seen, I think, everyone but Aquaman. And they're very good. I mean, they're more textured, there's a little bit more detail, and bases are better than the other earlier Tweeterhead pieces. They're going to be really hard to pass up. But I think you guys are really going to love them. Anyway, I'll see you soon on Rogues Gallery Live. I think we're doing a show next week on Wednesday. And then I've got some pieces coming in the near future. I've got Harley Hell on Wheels coming. I've got the 1/3 Iron Studios Joker coming. And a few other things. There's the Batman bust by Daniel Bell that everybody wishes was a premium format. I've got that coming too. So keep an eye out. Again, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Facebook group. Link is in the description. If you haven't already, join that group. It's really fun. And I hope you're buying some cool stuff for your collections. Let me know in the description, or I'm sorry, in the comments, what's the last piece you bought? Or no, what's the last piece you got? What's the last one that arrived? I want to know what you guys are getting in your collections. Anyway, have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Here's my Batman Who Laughs. Love this piece. Crazy good detail. I don't know why people complain about the assembly being difficult on this. I think it took me like 12 seconds to assemble this piece. People have trouble with the chains. I had no problem with the chains at all. Truly terrifying piece in every way. Sometimes I just put them on the electronic turntable and just let them spin while I watch TV, and I'm just horrified every time I look that way. Batman Who Laughs. He's terrifying.